Hello and welcome. I'm your host, author Ryan M. Oliver, and this is the Mighty Books Podcast. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Mighty Books Podcast. Today with me, our featured author is C.D. Bennett. C.D., how you doing this afternoon?
I'm doing very well, thank you. And thank you for
Awesome.
having me.
My pleasure. My pleasure. So we're here to talk about your book or books. You actually have a couple that you've completed, but what's one we're particularly going to focus on today?
Well, my newest book out is No Good Deed, and
Nice.
I'm kind of proud of the fact that this is the first one where I actually was brave enough to put into some writing competitions, and it's now an award winner.
That's awesome. That's fantastic. When did No Good Deed come out?
It actually came out in June of last year.
Awesome.
So it's been out for a little while now, but it's
Heck
just
yeah.
starting to gain some traction.
That's fantastic. Yeah, it just takes time. It just takes a lot of time. And what awards did you submit? What company or what award did you submit it for?
Well, actually, since this was the first one I was brave enough to even submit, I thought it might be better to submit to a few
Oh,
in
nice.
case I never heard back from anybody. But it won a first place in the Reader Views Classic Romance category. It won a second place in the Carla Crown Jewel of Book Awards, a third place in the Book Fest Awards in the Romantic Suspense category, and was even a finalist in the 2024 Story Trade Awards.
Coming out swinging hard. That's awesome. So you heard back
Yeah.
from all of them. At least I'm assuming, did you just do the four or did you do others as well?
Um yeah, those are basically all the ones I submitted to, at least the ones that I can remember.
That's great.
Yeah, it
That's
was
amazing.
just it was just trying to get my name out there.
Yeah.
I didn't think that, I would win as many as I did, especially being, a fairly new writer, but
Yeah.
I am absolutely thrilled.
Heck yeah. Yeah, that's a good way to get your name out there. Is definitely just putting it out there for more competitions. I know it's something I need to do a little more as well. I have not had I just haven't done it yet, but it's a good time. I'm glad you're jumping in feet first and jumping on those competitions. They can be kind of intimidating. Now, let's talk about actually what No Good Deed is about. So can you kind of give us a nice synopsis or whatnot for what the book's about?
Okay, well, No Good Deed is a romantic suspense because that is what I write. It has to be has to be adventurous, and there has to be a lot going on, whenever I'm reading.
Sure.
So that's the way I write.
Cool.
Um, yeah, it might be better here. Sorry, if I could actually read it, because I don't know what to say about it.
Summarizing can be so hard, especially when we're the ones writing it. I had the same problem with mine. I generally have to read the book blurb. So if you want to read a book blurb or something, that's totally okay.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm not sure how to really summarize it effectively. I'm still trying to figure that out in order to do my marketing itself.
Yes, it's hard, isn't it? It's a challenge. It's a challenge.
Yeah, it's crazy. Okay. How do I lead in for that?
Um, so I guess the question is like what's the primary struggle? What's the conflict that your main character is trying to overcome? What are they trying to overcome? So it's a romance.
Hmm.
Okay. What is suspenseful about it? It's a suspenseful romance. What makes it suspenseful?
Well, what makes it suspenseful is that as she's out for a horseback ride in a new environment. She just moved to Colorado and
Okay.
she's just out enjoying her location.
Yeah.
She comes across an injured man, and then um, she saves his life, and it causes all kinds of consequences that she never expected.
Perfect. Yeah, see, that's right there. That was excellent. That's excellent. Enough lead in. Now people want to know what else happens during that time frame. So
Okay, because that sounded kind of disjointed to me.
yeah, that's fine. Write it down and it works out great. I mean, summarizing such a huge project into, a small paragraph is probably very challenging. I know I struggled. I took about 2 weeks just to write my book blurb for one of my novels, and it was an absolute pain in the butt. Going back and forth with my editor, like, is this good? Is this good? Is this good? So, because there's so many different avenues you want to take, and you just kind of have to put a 30,000 foot, view clip of it versus trying to rewrite the whole story. That's kind of what we feel like we have to
Exactly.
do. Yeah. No, it's
Yeah.
it's a pain. It's a pain. So what drove you to suspenseful romance type genre? Do you just always have you always been interested in that kind of genre?
Yes, because whenever I have been a reader forever, that's the first love I ever had. I can't remember a time that I was not a reader.
Yeah.
And I have a very eclectic taste, anywhere from like dark thrillers to, nature
Nice.
books. But I was always drawn to not just romance, but romance that actually had a good plot behind it, that had something happen to where you wanted to keep reading. It was
Yeah.
more than just this couple meets, the couple gets together, that kind of thing. I wanted them to have to overcome a struggle and have a really good plot behind it.
I love so actually like an adventure, kind of like a situational romance almost, where I always think that reminds me of like National Treasure a little bit. If you've seen the movie National Treasure, where you've got
I
the two
have.
who have never really been in the same room together, and all of a sudden they're on this crazy quest together, and they end up, falling for each other in the end. I those are to me are just fun because it's not just about the couple; it's about what else is going on in the environment. I think that's a good way to hook more than just like usually romance is more for women readers, but I think something like what you've got, the romance is like an element of it, but not the entirety of the story, which I think it would attract more male readers also.
Exactly. And that's what I try to do. I like to have a really good plot
Hmm?
behind it to where it's not just attracting one kind of reader.
No,
There is a
totally.
lot in each of the books. There's a really good plot pushing things along, and there's a lot going on.
And it's based on like a outdoorsy kind of situation, which I think from reading your bio, it looks like you're a very outdoorsy person, a little adventurous as well. Looks like you've done some cool skydiving, even some scuba diving, which is pretty neat.
Yeah, if I actually have the chance to get out and actually go on vacation or get away from home, yeah,
Yeah,
my choice is going to be doing something very adventurous.
cool.
Paddle boarding. I have actually went scuba diving and skydiving. Anything that gets me out into nature to
Mhm.
where I'm doing something physical is a good draw for me. And heck, it's a good way to get inspiration for a book.
And that's very true. And the cool thing about doing stuff outdoorsy, and when you kind of combine that with a happenstance meeting, it's super easy to do because there's so many activities. And if you've got like even a basic hike, someone could go off the off the beaten path and
Mhm.
they get lost. Well, then the person who finds them could be someone who could strike up, a little chemistry and some spark, and voila, we got ourselves a story where they're trying to get back and they're getting to know each other. There's conflict. It's very actually kind of realistic.
Yes, it is. And that is one thing that I like to do is, and that's one thing readers have also said, is that my writing is very descriptive. And
Good.
it's usually because I'm describing something that I've seen or an environment that I've been in. Like with No Good Deed, it's based on a Colorado horse ranch, and I actually lived in Colorado, and I have been horseback riding through those mountains. So I was just describing things that I've seen and done, and it
Mm-hmm.
comes across very vivid to readers.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, an idea for you, if you haven't already thought of it, would be kind of cool because you incorporate a lot of nature loving, kind of outdoorsy adventure type themes in the story with alongside the romance. You could even have suggestions on like, hey, these are great little paths if, in this area of, in this case, Colorado, if you know them, and it also gives you an excuse to go explore some more. So you can go explore
Exactly.
like, hey, check this out. This is kind of cool. Good way to just kind of communicate or connect with possibly a reader if they're adventurous as well. Want to go visit where
Yes.
their favorite characters went for a horseback ride. Will be kind of
Yeah,
neat
that's a
too.
good idea. Yeah,
Gotta try to do anything like that. Now I know you said you're fairly new, but you have two books out though, yes?
I do.
That's
Yes. Mhm.
awesome. So you don't usually, I don't usually get a brand new and two books. Like, well, dang, you're starting up strong. What's your second book called?
The the second one is No Good Deed.
Okay, that's the
Um,
second. So what's your first book called? Excuse me.
my first book is Drastic Means.
Okay.
It's a FBI based romantic suspense that has a very well funded uh, villain in it that tries to worm his way into a government contract.
Hmm.
And it's very fast paced and has a lot of twists and turns in it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Would it be almost called a thriller? Like I'm trying to think what the difference between a thriller versus like a suspense would be. I guess one would be more action packed, one would be more like things are about. I don't know what the difference would be there, but was that where you're aiming was more thriller and then it kind of came out suspenseful romance, or how did that plan go out?
Um, I think I was going for a romance because that's just
Yeah,
my genre and what I like to read, and it turned out a lot more suspenseful and thriller type
yeah,
than I was expecting. It just went in a direction that I wasn't quite expecting. Readers tell me all the time that the first book, Drastic Means, reads more like a movie script. They can see it playing out in their
really,
head like a movie, like Jason Bourne, out solving crime and keeping the woman safe type thing,
right.
and then then I realized, I was more of a romance writer, but it had to be an adventurous, fun
Yeah.
romance, and that's how No Good Deed came about.
So what sparked the interest or what I guess sparked the inspiration for No Good Deed? What drove you to write that particular story? Any inspirational like time where you were writing out or anything happened that would kind of click like I'm doing this now?
Yeah, well, No Good Deed is, for one, based in Colorado, and I miss the mountains.
Yeah.
I love even going on vacation now out west. The Tetons, Colorado. I just love that whole area.
Yeah.
And No Good Deed has a lot of family bonds and orientation in it that somebody who's a loner, kind of like myself, that likes to be out in nature and just loves animals, is more comfortable with animals than people,
Yeah.
you know, meets a situation she needs some help in, and she finds a family that she never knew she wanted or needed.
Nice. Cool, cool. How long did it take you to write No Good Deed?
No Good Deed was actually so much faster than my
Really?
first book.
Yeah.
Yeah, my first book, I was afraid to put it out there, so I just kept playing with it for a really long time.
Yeah.
But once I actually got it published and it was well received,
Good.
I was like, "Oh, okay, well then I'm free to do another one." And that one only took about 8 months to actually write the book. It was
Wow.
so much faster. Of
Cool.
course, it takes longer to get it published and out into the public,
Yeah.
but that one went so much faster. And now I'm kind of switching back to where I'm working on book three, and
Ooh.
I'm kind of getting into this place where it's a little bit of imposter syndrome, to where I'm like, this one's going so much slower because I'm like, people are going to expect something from me and I have to live up to that.
Yeah, yeah. And that battling of imposter syndrome is so common. It's like, what right do I have to write a book? And it's like, well, if you got a story to tell, you can write one. it's totally okay. It's very normal, actually. I've struggled with that too, going, am I really that good at writing this? And at the same time, there might be some who don't enjoy it and other people who will. And I mean, at the end of the day, if you're enjoying the process of doing it, which if you
Mhm.
enjoy this kind of torture, because I know I do, of sitting down and struggling and fighting with it and coming up with
Mhm.
ideas and being woken up in the middle of the night with other ideas, yeah, if
Mhm.
you got to do it for yourself. But the symptom of that, the outcome is other people actually might enjoy it too. But that's the most terrifying thing of being an author is the most terrifying thing is no one's going to read it, and the other terrifying thing is someone's going to read it.
Yes, and they're going to have something to say about it.
Exactly, and that's the hard part. So you just have
Yeah.
to do it for yourself. I mean, it sounds kind of selfish, but it's like you have to do it for yourself and enjoy the process, and then you just share with people. And if they like it, great. If they don't, cool. That's how I've had to. That's how I've kind of gotten over that hump of hesitation with putting my books out. It's like, if you like it, cool. If you don't like it, cool. That's kind of how. Yeah, it sounds flippant, but I don't. I think it's a healthy way to look at it. But
Yeah,
yeah,
it you
hard.
have to think about it like that, or else you would
I'll
you
drive
would
yourself crazy.
self-doubt yourself into a corner you never get out of.
Exactly. And then you're in that roundabout, just constant circle of, okay, well, is it perfect enough? Is it perfect enough? Is it perfect enough? It's like
Mhm.
stop stressing over it and just push it out. A lot of the times, it's very rare to find someone, an author, who can put a book out and it is a bestseller the first time out. That's so unlikely. The more likelihood is going to be you write a book and it's fine, and you write another book and it's still fine. By the time you get to third or even fourth book, you're like, now we're honing in on it. Your skills are getting better. Like you said, you're getting it out faster. You got your process down, your confidence is up. You understand how you got your voice, kind of pegged, and it seems to flow a little better, and you end up getting more popular as time goes on. Granted, marketing is a whole other animal too, but that's
Exactly. I
yeah.
love the writing portion.
Yes.
I've even recently rediscovered that. I was sitting down when I had a chance to actually write for a little
Hmm.
bit, and I was like, I actually like this. I like the writing part,
Yeah, it's
and
fun.
it surprised me again because after having two books out and you do have to deal with the marketing and
Yeah.
the social media and all that stuff, that
Hmm.
kind of distracts from
Oh my God, it
the fact
does.
that I like to write.
Yeah, it's like it almost becomes a job and not a hobby because hobbies we
Yes.
enjoy, jobs you don't necessarily enjoy. And so when we're focusing on like the marketing, like you said, and other avenues, the publishing process isn't exactly the most enthralling. Sometimes it's cool, but it's just more logistics. You don't get to the fun creative part, which is what we got
Mhm.
into this for the first place. And then it was only later that we realized, oh crap, we've got a market too. Wow, I,
Yes.
I don't want to do that. And I mean, you just kind of end up doing that as a secondary, a collateral duty. But yeah, it's nice that
Mhm.
you remind yourself that, hey, I actually like doing this just for fun. I've actually dove into short stories in the last couple months just for it's something I can complete and have fun with and have something kind of offhand. And it's
Mhm.
like, oh, this is just fun to create something wacky or weird or, just for me. Whether it publishes or not, don't really care. But
Yeah.
it is nice to revisit that passion that drove you to write the book in the first place. Hey everyone, thank you for making it this far into the interview. Hope you're loving it. I just wanted to take a quick moment to tell you about a gift for you all, a free book just waiting to be read. Just visit ryanmoliver.com and hit the button to receive a free book. It's that easy. Also, consider signing up for the newsletter, where each month you'll receive more fun reading to enjoy. That's ryanmoliver.com. ryanmoliver.com. Now for so Good Deed, and then what was the other one called? It was called
Drastic means and no good deed.
Jurassic Means. Are those two in the same universe, same characters at all? Do they at all? Are they just they're standalones?
They are complete
You're saying.
standalones.
Okay, fantastic. Now, are you going to revisit those characters or other books you have? I'm sure you got more rolling around your head. We always
Oh, I
do.
do.
Yeah. Are you revisiting those characters or are you going to just do more standalones, which is, I think, a good method too?
Well, one thing that I do that sometimes isn't quite the norm is in every single one of my books, I always try to write secondary characters just as compelling and interesting as the main characters.
Sweet.
That way, there's still an avenue to go back and revisit those characters. Um, and in both of my books so far, there are certain characters that readers absolutely fall in love with. And they're like, I really want to hear that story. I want to hear what happens to them. So there is a chance that I will go back and do it because I definitely left it open to where there are more characters to explore.
Yeah.
Especially in the first one, there's one character that everybody keeps saying, when does his book come out? When does his book come out? And it has me scared because he's a very distinctive character and I would want to do him right. And he happens to be Scottish. So I'm like, whenever I actually get a research trip to Scotland, then I might have a story.
I mean, yeah, yeah, that would be ideal. However,
Yes.
it might be cheaper if you find contacts in Scotland. I don't know how you do that, but I mean, you could, social media, and we've got different Facebook groups and Zoom and everything. It makes it super a lot more accessible to talk. Like I think what we're doing here. I talk with people all over the country and all over the world, so this is very a lot more manageable nowadays than it was. Research can be done from
Yes.
home rather than spend tens of thousands of dollars on a plane vacation. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
saying don't go to Scotland if you can't. Go to freaking Scotland. I want to go
Oh
too.
yeah, I'd
But
go
I
in a
mean,
heartbeat.
yeah, yeah. Oh, I would too. I'd be like, see, I'll see it when I see it. But it
Mm-hmm.
would be really cool. But in the meantime, if you can't and you want to write it out and get that done, so why not? Why not try to find some context over there? It's like, would this be something he says? Or I don't know.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
could there's
Mm-hmm.
ways you could make it happen, but that's really cool. And I've heard from my wife, she's an avid, she just eats books for breakfast. I mean, she'll go through two to three in a weekend, easy. And she says for the romance genre, especially, she does exactly what you're talking about. They'll have like a group of friends or something, and you focus on one friend, and then the secondary character, you follow that secondary character becomes a main character. So what you're doing, people love that. They absolutely love that. So
Yes, the
yeah,
readers have been really, really receptive to that.
that's
Sometimes
awesome.
other writers, not so much, because it's like I'm not focusing directly on that couple. But
Sure.
I think it makes it more interesting when you can branch out. And that was one of the things that surprised me whenever I was writing Drastic Means, my first book. It didn't go exactly as I thought because my favorite character was not the main character.
Isn't that
Even when I
funny?
was writing it, it started out that way, but as things went on, that secondary character became one of my favorites too.
Isn't that funny how that I had the same experience. One of my main characters is around my age and everything, and he is a good character. I enjoy writing him, but he's not my favorite to write for anymore. It's actually, another one I've actually done a whole novella for and everything. I followed him beyond further out, and it's like it's so funny how they kind of I don't know what draws them to them. You make them such a difference from the main character that they're more of an attractive person to hang out with than the main you create. It's
Mhm.
not a
Mhm.
bad thing. It just means that you're going to have arcs that go that way. And it hopefully means that readers will resonate with your characters and be interested in the variety you've written. So I think it's completely natural. And unfortunately, we can only plan so much for this stuff.
Yeah, and
That's
then sometimes the characters take on their own life and they guide you somewhere else. That's part of the fun though.
It is. I love the organic quality of just writing. Like it'll completely throw me off my original trail, and all of a sudden I have a different story arc or different, means for that character. I'm like, oh, he's gonna actually gonna be like this instead of like that.
Mhm.
Huh. This is more interesting than I originally had planned,
Yeah,
which is
exactly.
good.
Sometimes it ends up being a better story.
Yeah, yeah, I like being surprised, and if it's my own brain surprising me, free, that's just free chocolate right there, essentially brain
Yeah,
chocolate, if that makes any sense at all.
it
Uh,
does to me.
yeah. So as a new author, when did your first book come out?
Oh goodness. That's a hard question. I don't even know.
Okay.
I was working on the second one so long. The copyright, I think, is in 2022 because it
Okay.
was during, I actually got serious about it and decided
Right.
that I was going to put it out there. I was going to finish the book and I was actually going to try to publish it
Hmm.
during the whole pandemic thing, like a lot of other
A
authors.
lot of people did.
Yes. So that was whenever it actually got accepted,
Nice.
and it actually went somewhere. So it was like
Okay.
2022, and then the copyright in No Good Deed is 2023, but it didn't come out until 2024 in June.
Gotcha. 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 So with that said, because you said, I mean, you're fairly new author, still trying to get it out there, kind of
Mm-hmm.
testing the waters for marketing. What steps have you taken to try to get your name out there? Obviously, podcasts are one of them, but what else have you been doing? I know we had a conversation, I think an email exchange about that recently. What have you found out? What are you doing so far? Just try to get your name out there.
Well, social media was new for me.
Mhm.
So just dealing with that whole thing was interesting. I have I
That's
have
a fact.
Facebook and Instagram.
Hmm.
I'm not really big onto to videos. I'm not comfortable enough in front of people to do the video thing, so I'm not on TikTok or anything like that. But I
Me
did
neither.
join some social media,
Cool.
and this is of course my journey into podcasting.
Yeah.
And
Happy to
I
help.
obviously entered some writing contests,
Awesome.
and I've done some book tours and tried to
Ah,
meet up with
cool.
other authors and things like that. I've met some really neat people that
Good.
it's good to get ideas, bouncing off of other authors, which I haven't had before, which I'm really looking, to explore those more and to connect with readers themselves,
That one.
trying to get them to my website, or maybe even, talking on social media and getting some input from the
Yeah.
people that actually read it.
That is an excellent, excellent idea. I've been doing the same kind of research and diving on things. And so, what I've been learning, if I can suggest a few books for you, I don't know if I did suggest the books at all yet, but there are three that I would. It's once there's a pair. They're really short, which is wonderful because we're busy. Newsletter Ninja, which is just basically goes over how to actually make a newsletter and get it out. That's such a good way to connect with readers. And
Mm-hmm.
then for selling your first 1,000 copies, or I think it's first 1,000 copies, and I think it's by Tim Grawl, if I remember correctly. Those three books are super short. There's
Mm-hmm.
no fluff, and it kind of breaks down the whole menagerie of what's out there. It's like social media, it breaks down, but and what's important to focus on. And for those of us who are doing this by ourselves, for indie authors, there's just so much to do. It can be very overwhelming. They really cut through the crap, as I put, boil it down to the bare bones basics. And all of them are saying email is still king with connecting to your readers, which I thought was like to me, it's so archaic. Like,
Yes.
what email? But like I've been doing newsletter. I've done two so far in this last year, and I've had more engagement with email than I have with social media in the last 3 years of doing it. It's
Oh, wow.
wild. It's wild. Still have a presence on social media, but having,
Mm-hmm.
because everyone does, it's like it'd be weird if you didn't, but hyper focus on your newsletter and connecting with readers that way and giving your stories that way. Apparently, if you go and dive on those three books, I'll tell you right now, you're going to have a focus that is going to work, and it's going to be fun for your creative mind because they have you create like other small short stories that
Mm-hmm.
parry off of your current work that draw people to you. So it's pretty cool.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
pretty
that's an
cool.
interesting idea to look
Pretty
into,
cool. Yeah.
because that's my biggest thing with. I do have a newsletter,
Perfect.
through my website.
Good.
I don't have a huge following yet,
That's
but
okay.
I'm all the time wondering what to say,
Hmm.
what to put in there, how to get people's attention, and
Yeah.
what do they want.
And that's the cool thing is those three books I mentioned, they actually go and break down, I can't call it a formula, but let's just call it a formula for lack of a better word.
Mhm.
And it really helps. It helped me just like, oh, I can just write about this. Sweet. A lot of times I just want to know about you and then like the stories you're producing. You just keep it consistent like that. It's almost like a like an update with a friend. It kind of sounds weird, but people love that. People love that just kind of connection with the author. Like, oh, someone wrote something I really like, and they're human. What? Yeah, and
That's always a nice surprise, isn't it?
yeah, we always put people on pedestals, especially if they've done something we admire. And it's like really
Mhm.
from doing this, I've learned that authors are just people. They're just writers that happen to focus on something for a long time and then produce it. It's not like they're superhuman. Some are, don't get me wrong. There are some crazy authors out there, but most of us are just average folks who just like to write and share our stories with people. It's nothing too, extraordinary, crazy.
Yes.
So
Yes.
but definitely check those books out. And I recommend anyone listening to do the same. If you're a writer and author, check those three books out. Newsletter Ninja 1 and 2, and then the first 1,000 copies. They're very helpful if you're looking to do some stuff, some marketing. But
Well,
yeah.
here you go, adding to my own TBR.
Yeah, and thankfully you can do all three over a weekend if you're I mean, I read two in like a day. So I mean they're just super short. They're like what's what we got here? I think the first one's like maybe 100 pages. Yeah, 130 pages, but they're tiny. They're little things. So
Oh,
pretty
okay.
cool. Yeah, nice. I would
Totally
recommend it.
doable.
Oh, 100%. And that's what they kind of made it for. Was no fluff. Just read all three and you'll have a crap load of things to do probably. Probably give you too much information, but they really cut down everything nicely. I enjoyed them. I'm pointing everybody in that direction. It helps solidify things for me too. But
Good.
yeah, yeah. So what feedback have you gotten from your readers so far for both your books?
Well, I don't want to jinx it, but I haven't got a lot of negative feedback,
Well, that's good.
which I was expecting. My Of course, no one book is going to be, you know, everybody's favorite,
No.
but I haven't gotten a lot of criticism, which is probably good because that allows me to continue working on book three
Yeah,
because I'm a little oversensitive right now since I'm still new and
I
nobody
know.
really knows who I am. Um, but I have gotten a lot of really good
Good.
feedback and a lot of interest in when's the next one.
Yeah, actually, that's like goes on to my next question. What plans do you have for the next one? What is the third one coming out? Not when, but what is it?
Yeah, what? It's another romantic suspense.
Fabulous.
This one, I tried to go with a really adventurous area that is on my bucket list. It's going to be based in Alaska.
Ooh,
And this one, the first one was Drastic Means. It was like FBI based. And No Good Deed is, a ranching community out west. And
nice.
this one is going to be more military based.
Really?
She's going to get some help from an ex military. Yes.
Oh, very
Yeah.
cool. So she's just
So,
adventuring out in Alaska and happens to
no, she's going to
no.
witness a crime that she should not have seen.
Dun dun dun. I don't
Yes,
know how
exactly.
that. So that's a kind of another question I have is research. Did you have to do much research for your books, or are you talking to folks? You're just reading some Google entries. What's your research look like?
Well, for my first book, it took a lot of research because it has a lot of computers
No,
and
okay.
tech and government contracts and things like that in it.
Yeah,
So I'm not very tech savvy. So, I had to brush up on computers and,
sure.
how that kind of stuff works. So there was a lot of intense research in that one, which made me back off on that intensive research for the second one and make
Yeah,
it more fun and more personal. So when readers say that the first one was more like a movie script and they really enjoyed it, they could just view it in their
Picture,
head.
yeah.
Some people said they liked No Good Deed better because it was more, they could relate to it, and they could see it happening in real life,
I
that it
see.
was still a really good adventurous story, but they could see it happening in real life.
Nice.
So that one, yeah, that one didn't take as much research. And so far, the third one, it's kind of halfway in between.
Yeah.
Especially, some of the animals in the environment. Since I haven't been there yet, I need a research trip there as well.
Yes, you do. You do. They got some pretty affordable trips out that way. I'd go. That's a
Yep.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely on my list as well. And since I'm a nature and animal lover, so far all of my books, including the third one that I'm still working on, have animals or an animal that takes a main focus in the book, which I
Yeah.
think is kind of unique.
Uh-huh.
Like in Drastic Means, the first one, there is actually a talking African gray parrot that is very essential to how things turn out.
Oh, cool.
In No Good Deed, she's a animal lover and she prefers her animals over people. So there
Sure.
is a border collie and a
Nice.
horse that take main focus, which are my two favorite animals.
Very cool.
And there's going to be more in the third.
Awesome. There's so many animals over there. Oh my gosh. In Alaska, you could grizzly bears, wolves, all sorts of good stuff. They can play either as almost an antagonist or as a little helper. Who knows? Depending on,
Exactly. You can take it
yeah.
anywhere.
You can take it anywhere. You can do both. Yeah, there's a lot you can do with that. That's it. And the cool thing about your genre and the fact that you like the romance, suspense, and you do outdoor stuff, really sky's the limit on any storytelling you want to do. So I have a funny feeling you probably have the problem of too many ideas.
I do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, you
It's
can't put
hard
it
to
all in
get
one
it through.
book.
No, you can't, and you can't work on all of them at the same time. That's the
Yeah,
problem.
exactly.
I want everything done right now. Like
Uh huh.
that's my patience level.
Yep,
And
me
it doesn't
too.
work like that. It doesn't at
Nope.
all.
I have notes and partial stories and ideas, and I have outlines,
Yep.
laying everywhere. I have
Yep.
stuff everywhere
Yeah.
just with ideas and things I want to do, but it doesn't fit in my current story.
No, and it's just maddening, isn't it? It's just
Hmm.
mad. Like I want it done yesterday, but it's not gonna do that. You have to do it yourself. So it's hard to focus. It's hard to focus.
Yes.
Hopefully you'll be able to focus and get three done and timely. I think a year seems to be a good amount of time to get a manuscript finished and at least polished enough to go to the editor. I mean, it takes a while, but and
Hmm.
then get
Yes.
great. Hopefully, you're able to get more and more out there. And I don't see why people wouldn't just gravitate towards stories like this. I know a lot already do. So I see good things as long as you're keeping it up and just getting out there and trying. That's the big key. It's
Yes.
just
Yeah, that's the
doing.
big thing. If I put it out there, hopefully the readers will find it.
Yep, very field of dreams of us. If we build it, they will come. If we write it, they will
Yes.
read it. Yeah, very,
Yes.
very field of dreams of us. So I'm sure people though are curious as where they can find No Good Deeds, contact you, or at least connect with you. So where can they find your books and connect with you?
Actually, both of my books are widely available, anywhere from like Barnes and Nobles and Amazon to Books a Million, and online. No Good Deed can be found on the Wild Rose Press website, and Drastic Means can be found on Page Publishing's website. And yeah, just many online sites.
Yes.
And then my live in person book signings that I put on my website.
Ooh.
So, yeah, those are scary.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's good to get out there though. It helps. And over time, I think you'll just be more comfortable with it as time goes on. It's some immersion therapy for you.
Yes, definitely. And in the meantime, they can always, they can, visit my website
Mhm.
or, connect with me on mostly Facebook and Instagram. They can find me
Yeah.
there. I'm open to talking to people as soon as they, find me. I'm
Yeah.
out there.
You are. You are out there and you're doing things, and that's what's important. Just keep doing things. And hopefully more will come. What we focus on, I think what we'll focus on will be, and just enjoy the ride.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, that's
enjoy
what
the
I keep
ride.
telling myself. I have to enjoy all the little steps. It's not always just the destination. I have to enjoy the whole thing.
Absolutely. Well said. Well said. Well, CD, thank you. This has been fun. Thank you so much for coming on and talking with me today. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you for having me. It was actually a lot of fun.
I'm really glad, and you're very welcome. All right, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed that. Go check out CD Bennett's new book, No Good Deed, online all over the place, and connect with her. Check out our newsletter, all the good stuff that comes with new authors and their energy. So go check them. Go check her out in her new book, No Good Deed. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and as always, stay mighty and keep reading.